Get ready to be amazed by this amazing psychological fact about the behavior of a man of love and women after intimacy. Women value continued intimacy much more than a man's tendency to turn over and fall asleep when a woman feels sexually satisfied. This can trigger a positive cycle of repetitive and pleasant experiences. Surprisingly, women who often touch their bodies tend to have elevated levels of sex hormones. It is interesting to note that surprising a woman with your skills in the bedroom is much more effective than showing them off in advance, because they are high expectations often lead to disappointment. On the other hand, a woman's lack of interest often manifests itself in avoiding eye contact and lowering her gaze, while maintaining eye contact usually signals interest. An amazing fact is that 1% of women are able to achieve full orgasm only through breast stimulation. The clitoris is an amazing organ of the human body that is the only part of the body that never ages more. Moreover, the average duration of a female orgasm is 4 times longer than that of men. When a woman asks how I look, honesty is not always the best. Prolonged loneliness can lead to acceptance of loneliness, but the fear of being left alone can prevent the disclosure of true potential. Interestingly, women usually prefer a male penis between 8 and 10 centimeters long. Sexual compatibility plays an important role, and 80% of women check it before marriage. Women between the ages of 40 and 50 often experience more intense orgasms compared to men. At a young age, due to a lower percentage of water in the body, women get drunk faster than men. The phenomenon when they visit the toilet in groups often involves discussing and adjusting makeup. Ovulation is at the peak of female sexuality, increasing the likelihood of reaching orgasm. Women appreciate when others can interpret their body language, for example, pointing their feet at someone playing with their hair or standing close. Finally, the funny fact is that human testicles produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat. Surprisingly, a person can maintain friendships with about 150 people throughout their lives. At the first meeting, 80% of men are more likely to most often, women will pay attention to their breasts. On the contrary, they often lick their lips during a conversation with someone they like. Couples who watch porn together, usually they show a higher level of commitment to each other. Marquin once said the 2 most important days in your life. This is the day you were born and the day you realized why feet are a surprisingly common source of sexual fetishism in Western cultures. Interestingly, it is often advised never to shed tears in front of your wife despite the pain. To truly ignite passion in a woman, you should pay attention to various erogenous zones such as legs, chest, and neck, not just the genitals. If you want to understand a man's character, just watch your friends arguing with stupid people. It's an empty task. They will drag you to their level and win through experience. Surprisingly, a medium-sized penis is usually enough for pleasure. Wealth, a friend, a wife, and a kingdom can be restored. But if the body is lost, it can't be returned. When dealing with a bad person or a thorn, there are only 2 options. Crush it under your shoe or hold on as long as possible. Then, a kiss is a much more emotional experience for women than for men. This is most often about a physical sensation. The fear of death comes from the fear of life. A person who lives fully is ready to die at any moment. Anger. This is a destructive quality that harms, first of all, the one who wears it more than the one it is aimed at. Women, oddly enough, are more likely to develop romantic feelings after watching romantic films or listening to love songs. A man's mood deeply affects his attractiveness to women. During ovulation, a woman is more likely to consider cheating than at any other time in her cycle. When choosing underwear, women can unexpectedly increase sexual desire. An hour spent with a charming girl seems like a fleeting second, and sitting on a red-hot brazier stretches a second into a painful eternity. That's relativity for you. The smell of a man can interest a woman and even grow into love. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step. According to an ancient proverb, women between the ages of 30 and 40 often fantasize more about sex and seek casual relationships more often than in their youth. Most women experience a peak of desire when their genitals and nipples are stimulated at the same time. Don't dwell on the past, and don't dream about the future. Focus on the present moment. Contrary to popular belief, women dress not for men, but for themselves. By mood, location, season, epilation schedule, menstrual cycle, and available accessories, women who make love frequently tend to have a higher libido and feminine energy. Young women may prefer older men because of the sense of security they give. They are naturally attracted to healthy, energetic men, not necessarily those with pronounced muscles. Research shows that frequent sex can strengthen your immune system. Women tend to maintain eye contact while talking to men they like. Surprisingly, women spend a lot of time on average, 15 to 20 minutes every day, deciding what to wear for some women. Deep penetration in the morning is especially the optimal way to achieve orgasm for almost 70% of women. They get excited by touching their lips. They notice that women's bags are filled with seemingly useless objects that they believe may someday be useful. Spoiler alert, they rarely do. Female orgasms surprisingly do not have an expiration date. Some women experience them even after 9 years. It is curious, but sometimes depression can stigmatize a woman when she is aroused or makes love when a woman feels attracted. Her voice may become higher and faster for someone. Semen contains zinc and calcium elements that have proven effective in preventing tooth decay. They show that foreplay involving breasts significantly increases sexual arousal in men. If you found this article informative, share it with your friends and family. We will be glad to hear your thoughts. Leave comments below. We have reached the end. Write OK so that we know that you have learned this information. For even more fascinating topics, be sure to watch the recommended video on the screen next time. Stay safe and be great. Thanks for reading.